So we are here right after lunch with Professor Ugo Mattei. And
Hello.
let's thank you a lot for stopping by and give us your inputs. And my first question is about your recent past. We don't really care about your entire life, but if you can give us some hints about your recent efforts to impose in the international, first Italian, then international agenda, this new concept of commons.
Well, it has been a quite casual encounter. I've been working since 2005 on the issue of public property and legal remedies to the plunder of public property that happened in Europe and through the world in these last 30 years or so, with a massive degree of privatizations and liberalizations and transfer of public resources into private hands, and that was an issue of significant importance. And I ran a research group in Italy for a few years to try to analyze that kind of a phenomenon. And then after that, I got involved in the Italian referendum against the privatization of water, which I started together with another couple of colleagues by drafting the question that was whether Italian people would like to abolish a law that provided for compulsory privatization of water services in Italy. And the Italian government had passed a law that made it obligatory for local governments to privatize water resources and public services in general by the end of 2011. And we opposed a referendum. And the referendum in Italy is a very complex device because you need 500,000 signatures certified each one just to have it, and then you need to pass a check by the Constitutional Court whether it is admissible, and then you need a turnout of 50% plus one of the people. And we went through all of that, and we got 1.5 million signatures, and then 97% vote of the Italian people were against the privatization of water.
So you have a clear example of how mobilization at the citizen level can be effective in changing legislation.
Extremely important. It needs to be issues that are felt by the people, because the referendum in Italy was used many times, was attempted many times, but it was 16 years that would not go through. And but water, you see, and commons are beginning to be really understood by everybody as the kind of common resources that we can really not privatize, that they should be governed outside of the logic of the market, and that it is wrong. It is simply plainly wrong to say that the private sector is a good manager for those kind of resources. The people are understanding that. Of course, that doesn't mean to go back to ideas of running of public services and common resources that are bureaucratically run by the state in a very sort of obsolete forms. But what we need is to think new ways to understand the way in which the commons should be run. And examples abound right now. And you're asking me what I'm doing. Right now I'm the president of the water utility company that is running the water in Naples, that was republicized very recently and has been transformed from a for-profit corporation into a public corporation participated by the people within a logic of the commons, with completely different bylaws and a completely different corporate governance.
But according to my understanding, having a common does not directly implies to have public management of it. So what are the eventually other means to manage a common? It's like a sharing of the resources, co-responsibility, citizens who, I don't know, we have heard here examples about gardens, community bank trusts. Do you consider that a common as well?
Sure. You see, the commons, theoretically speaking, are the opposite of both the private property and the state sovereignty. The commons are organized around the logic of inclusion, not the logic of exclusion that is common to both state sovereignty and private property. And the commons are organized according to the logic of diffusion of power. They are run in a very dialectic, egalitarian way, which again is the opposite of both the idea of sovereignty and the idea of private property or corporate property that concentrates the power and decision-making at the top. So it's structurally the opposite.
So that would be also the link from commons to addressing inequality towards open
Absolutely.
Inclusion.
This is the next step. Let me finish the first reasoning. So they asked me first whether you needed a public running of the commons. In fact, you don't need to be officially public. There are experiences of commoning that are not recognized by law, that they are even against the law because they are commoning experiences that happen after people have claimed as commons resources that before were either in private property or in public property. In Italy, we have this very well-developed network of theaters that have been occupied and open to the people by the workers and by the actors, and they really became an important and significant place of elaboration of alternative ideas in Italy in the last few years. So you don't really need a public running of the commons, but you need a participated running. In Naples, for example, the water company, we have you need to have a purpose, which is a sort of a purpose that is different from profit, but is running the resource also in the interest of future generation, ecologically, socially. So you need to have a special purpose of the common, which is different from the traditional capitalist purpose of money making, and you need to have and you need to have an institutional system that checks that that purpose is carried on. So you need, for example, in Naples we have a board that is elected by all the people, the consumers, and the workers that do control what the board is actually, the director is actually doing in order to carry on this sort of social and ecological purpose of the new water company. Similarly, you can do that, in private institutions as long as you kind of change the architecture. The architecture, the property structure in a way to make it, as some scholars say, generative rather than extractive.
I suppose the purpose, besides being the key from the managerial point of view, it's also crucial in order to activate and engage people. So grounding on the experience that you have for the referendum, what is the strategy that you would follow to
the commons is
to raise awareness and participation?
Theoretically speaking, the commons is a very mobilizing concept. Once something is recognized as a common, people understand that it's their stuff, that they have their responsibility to carry it, that they have the possibility to apply their own creativity, they have the possibility to develop social skills. So it's already a very mobilizing notion. I don't believe that it is possible to create a commons institution from the top down. I don't believe that we can, for example, sometimes they try to create like boards of people that get involved in giving advice to governments or to local governments. That stuff don't work. Commons work when people really recognize something as a common and are motivated themselves. You cannot motivate people from the top down. But when there is a need, where there is an actual need, people get automatically motivated, and then the commons emerges.
Don't you think there's, however, a responsibility from the top-down perspective to make the legal framework or to facilitate the meeting of people, the interactions, the gathering of...
Of course there is. I would already be happy if the top-down institutional setting would not repress the commons, because right now many of the experiences that are going on in Italy and in Europe of commoning that happens by means of occupying public or private spaces and reorganizing them gets suppressed by the police, because there are trespasses and there are all sorts of laws that, if they are applied in a very formalistic way, make commoning illegal. So I would be happy of a sort of an abstention already. On the other hand, the next step is, of course, to understand that both constitutionally and legally, not having the commons regulated as a legal institution as such is a big fail of our legal system. Our legal system today is severely unbalanced in favor of the private. The public and the commons are not constitutionally guaranteed. There is a need of rethinking the legal system by putting in the center of the picture the commons, in the sense of the diffused interest of the people, not assuming that the political institutions are per se capable of protecting it. Because today it too often happens that political institutions are captured by private interests, and therefore they don't run anymore the interest of the people.
So this was quite enough to set the agenda from the top to the down. But if you are to ask something from the bottom up approach, if you are to ask something to us citizens, what would you recommend?
Well, I would recommend to get critical, to be very aware of the fact that there is a very sustained propaganda in favor of the status quo, that a lot of the narrative that is making our common sense is in fact a narrative that is not neutral, but is in favor of the strong corporations that are able to invest in creating the narrative. So what I think it is important to create a new common sense. Before the idea of the commons can become a legitimate legal tool, it needs to become a shared feeling of the people. There need really to change the common sense so that it is not natural that individuals are individualized and competitive. Rather, we are social human beings, social animals, and we need to be cooperative and collective.
Very last question. Well, which will be your next campaign? So we can start engaging immediately.
Right now, I am, we just finished the transformation of the Naples water company, and there are already other 5 cities in Italy that are going in the same direction. So now I'm involved in trying to create an alternative network of city utilities that do water management in a commons-based point of view. So I guess that is going to take me away quite a lot of time, but there are many other things. There are basically issues about the commons that emerge practically every week on a large variety of things, like from education to land use to many others. And I try to get involved when they ask some advice. I try to help if I can, because it's a good way to connect different struggles that they appear to be very different, but they are actually not anymore single issue politics. The single issue politics through the commons is becoming actually politics.
Thanks a lot, Professor Mattei.
You're very welcome.